Another head scratcher morning. Head scratchers are questions for Calvinist, Reformed, tulip theology following people. Just so you know, I'm in the cold area and I'm cold, so I'm putting on the old hood. This is actually part 3, but I've got many questions from Genesis, all head scratchers. Did God really decree and determine all whatsoever comes to pass, including the evil? I know that the Calvinist Reformed tulip people will often say, well, he didn't really, he's not really responsible for the evil, but he really did decree the evil. And he decreed the evil because it's for his purposes. And, he's got a bigger glory in it and he's going to get better honor in it. And the only way he could, be glorified to the full and show all of his attributes like wrath and mercy at the same time as if he did write evil into the decree and then now he's meticulously controlling it and so on and so forth. Now, my voice might sound mean or condescending. The truth is I'm just talking fast. I'm making sure that any Calvinist that might listen knows that I kind of understand, how you argue your points or your thinking or reasoning behind why evil exists. Now, some of the questions, these all are really from Genesis. Most of the questions from Abraham or Joseph. God intended it for evil. Sorry, reverse that. God intended it for good while the brothers intended it for evil. I've got many questions related to the whole story. So hopefully you're familiar with it. Joseph gets sold into slavery. He's at Potiphar's house. Why do we need this story in the Bible if God's determined everything? What do I learn as a Christian from the Potiphar story? All I can really do is read it. Me being sexually pure really isn't for me because this was determined for Joseph. Or me learning about the dangers of sexual passions and drives that, by the way, God gave us naturally in the garden. Go now and multiply, be fruitful, fill the earth. So God gave us that good desire, but it can be used for evil. But wait a second. How am I supposed to learn anything from this if God has determined my every lustful thought and act? How am I supposed to learn to have self-control if God says, you know what? Your plight in life, your thorn is going to be, you won't have self-control. You're going to demolish and destroy many lives, but for a good cause, for my wrath or for my glory. Well, wait a second. I can't really do anything with these stories. I notice, though, the sin nature and our natural drives getting people in a load of trouble. Let's see what else. Jacob I loved, Esau I hated. Again, you can read those scriptures. Let's see. I know I missed some. Oh, fatherly blessing, fatherly love, how to treat your children. How can I learn anything from Isaac about his 12 children? And how can I learn about birthright if none of that stuff really can apply to me because God's already got it planned out, what I'm going to get out of life, what I'm going to learn? Why teach me to pray? Head scratcher. I mean, if everything's been meticulously controlled and it's going to be God's will no matter what, I can think I'm praying in God's will, but if it's not God's will, there's no way it's going to matter. Even if I do pray in God's will and it seems like the prayer was answered, that was predetermined. How do I increase my love for God in that way of thinking? Oh, I prayed for this, but really, I just got lucky on a Tuesday, and you already had it planned anyway, so it wasn't my prayer that mattered. You weren't thinking about me in love, care, okay? Have you noticed, by the way, in the story, how guilty the brothers of Joseph felt? Their remorse. Did you ever notice their whole life was a slow progression of saying, now I'm starting to understand now that I'm really hungry and we have no food and I don't know what to do with my family and I love my family, I can't believe what I did to my brother. Wow, did I treat him bad throwing him in the old water tank, the empty water tank? So I'm feeling pretty guilty about that. Now that I'm hungry and I'm traveling many miles to beg some pagan king that I can't stand for food, and if I don't, if I'm irreverent to him, I'm going to get killed, even though I might believe in God. Well, wait a second. Was I putting God first? Did I do godly things? Did I do what my dad taught me? Isaac being a godly man through which Jesus comes. Well, I didn't listen to my father. I wasn't loving and honoring to others or my brother. Now I'm starting to feel guilty and remorse. Whoa, I got all this silver. I got all this food. The king spared my life. Man, am I grateful for that. How did that? Oh, man. Now I got to turn back to the Lord. Isn't that how God works in all situations? Isn't that how he works today? Read 2 Corinthians 7. Read that, where Paul's letter lambastes the Corinthians. Paul's about to say, man, I feel really bad about lambasting you in my letter. And then he goes, wait a second. No, I don't. The letter came with a great purpose because you felt godly sorrow and remorse and guilt in a way that you realized sin was real and you needed help. You needed a savior from your sin condition. And that's how it works all the time. Sorry, I should have been scrolling through. Okay, that's part 3. I know I missed some. Oh, a special promise, not to salvation, not individual election. A special promise, never mentioned once as individual salvation, but a promise through Isaac and not through Ishmael, even though, by the way, Ishmael was also blessed underneath Abraham, which brings up a huge question about blessing by association. Go back to the Potiphar story around Genesis 38 through 45. You'll find the Potiphar story. I can't remember the exact chapter, but Potiphar's house is blessed. Why? Joseph's there, a godly man, a righteous and devout man who's going to go toe to toe with the Pharaoh himself and say, no, I only honor God, but I'll read your dreams. I'll help you. I got a great idea about how to deal with the food. And his life was spared, but he still proclaimed God like we're supposed to do. Well, wait a minute. On Calvinism or Reformation theology, I'm only going to speak what God has already ordained, decreed in eternity past for me to do. So, head scratchers abound. Oh, we must give an accounting for his blood, brothers. Well, why would they say that? Why would they care? Why would that matter if everything's been decreed and determined? Could it be, though, that God's also made us in his image, and currently one of the strong things we got going for us under God's design is guilt, remorse, thought, intellect, reason, doubt, the ability to believe, problem solve. Head scratchers abound.